Hey, how's everybody doing? It is Friday, and that means Friday is Scream Stream time. That's right, it's horror time. So, welcome everybody. Hello, Ness, Christina Payne. How are you guys? Just wanted to let you guys know. I hope you're having a great Friday. Today, we are going to touch on the movie Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So we have that going on today. Hello, Amanda, kind of mainstream. How are you guys? Like I said, we have Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Robert right now is working on finishing touches of his quiz, and then we'll kind of go from there. So before we bring Robert on, I wanted to do, I usually start the show off with a top 10 list. Hey, Nightshade, how are you? So we're going to do our top 10 list and the top 10 things to say when you see a clown. So let me go ahead and just get that little intro there real quick. Obviously trying a few things out on the list here. So let me get this pulled up for you guys. All right, perfect. So this is actually the top 10 list. And, chat, you guys might have some of your own on the list, whatever the case may be. So you can always chime in with that. But this is the top 10 things to say when you see a clown. Now, I always try to use my humor. So just kind of roll with me here. So number 10, you're going to ask, will you sign my horn, you bozo? So number 10, you're going to ask that clown, will you sign my horn, you bozo? Number 9, could you please help pay towards my therapy? Number 8, so a size 14 in shoes? Really? Number 7, I thought I renewed my Clowns for Life membership. Remember, these are top 10 things that when you see a clown. Number 6, Insane Clown Posse. Nice. You like them too? Number 5, are you related to Krusty by chance? Number 4, I am a class clown at school. Does that count? Number 3, you might not want to hug me. I'm feeling a little sick today. And number 2, I loved your performance in Batman. That was you, right? And then your number 1 reason or thing to say when you see a clown, is it okay if I drive the funny car? That's your top 10 list. Like I said, every time we start a segment, we're always going to have a top 10. But anyways, we got a pretty good show for you guys tonight. Just doing Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So while Robert is finishing that up, let me go ahead and show you a little clip, or actually a little slide, and just kind of get the mood going a little bit. So let's pull that up. And like I said, hope everybody's doing really well. Bum, bum, bum. So many different things on here. So yes, indeed. All right, here we go. All right. So Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So that's some slides, some scenes from that, just to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. So let's go ahead and see if Robert is ready to go, and check in on him so he can say hi.
Hello,
Robert.
How are you?
Hey, how are you, Robert? How's things?
Repping the merch here. Doing well. Can't complain.
Awesome.
Busy week.
So we have we're saying hi to the chat here. So we got M Baggett, Christina Payne, kind of mainstream. We got Ness, Nightshade. Just basically going through that a little bit. So Robert, you get killer clowns from outer space. Obviously, clowns are very important in the society.
Hmm.
So I wanted to kind of just bring that to you, opening it up and stuff, and get your obviously your idea on clowns. Um, but I wanted to let you know. Did you know that I was actually at a circus when there was a fire?
Oh, really?
It was intense.
Wow.
Um, but other than that, so clowns. Before we like kind of dive into the movie a little bit, I wanted to touch on what clowns like. There's an actual term, and I believe it's called
The
I can't the chorophobia or how do you pronounce it?
Colrophobia.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, and so basically, like you get like these irregular heartbeats, panic, nausea. There's a lot of things that come into play when you see a clown or you're around a clown or you're thinking about clowns. So what's going on there?
So there's just been this common fear of clowns simply because of the uncomfortability people have with the pale face, the big red nose, and just the creepiness of clowns in general. So I think it, goes far back. Like, this has always been a thing. Even going back to the early silent films of Lon Chaney Sr., where he did Laugh Clown Laugh, I believe it was called. But there's always been this kind of uneasy feeling of clowns in general, simply because of their look. The pale, the typical pale face.
Mhm.
We there's that psychological aspect of just uneasiness that people have with clowns. So
Well, I think it's that creep detector of like who's behind the face. You know
yes,
what I mean? It's it
no,
comes to play. I mean, you generally have like you usually see emotions, smiling. I mean, there's things that you can see without the makeup and stuff, but when they got the makeup on, the clown stuff or the mask, you
mhm,
can't see that expressions. And so it's that who's behind the mask.
exactly. So the same fear that plays on our unknown is just not knowing who the person is, and just that expression that these clowns make. The expressions that the clowns make is also just very uncomfortable for some people. You know
Well,
that's
I
why.
mean, you go to the circus, it's normal. But
Hmm.
when you're driving by the highway and you see the in the woods off to the distance and there's a clown waving, it's not normal.
Yeah, exactly. So the colors, and also the fear of the movie itself. It and Killer Clowns. Those movies really also added to the fear. Traumatized kids growing up, not being comfortable around clowns, and I know someone who's deathly afraid of clowns.
Okay,
Um,
do you think the movie It kind of reintroduced like introduced the fear of clowns, or I mean, was it something that was strong before, but then it comes along? I mean, it kind of like gravitates it towards another level. What do you feel? I mean, Stephen King did so many different things. Whether it was Christine with the cars, Cujo with the dog. Now he's bringing the fear through clowns.
yes, so that idea. I think when there's a point where small kids, uh, they're excited to be around the clown and whatnot. But then when you start seeing what clowns are capable of doing in a movie like It or Killer Clowns, then you suddenly get that, like, wait a minute, this is what they can do. And then it's just built, or they'll have a traumatic experience with a clown.
Yeah.
Suddenly popping up and scaring them at a Six Flags or a Halloween Horror Nights. So those things kind of, I think, contribute. And also people that learn about real life serial killers like John Wayne Gacy, who's another, was a real life killer clown. in a sense. So I think all of that really adds to that fear.
Well, back in 2016, we went through a little bit of a period where uh, clowns, were spotted everywhere, like, in the woods, playgrounds, the balloons, like everything. There's a little phenomenon going on, and people were like, schools were saying, hey, don't come to school dressed up like a clown, have stores take stuff down that involves clowns. But there was a lot of that going on. So where is that being triggered from? I mean, what is like, is it people that are actually the obsession with that?
Yeah, I think that it just 2016. I'm curious, when was the what do you call it? American Horror Story
Taco
season.
Bell, Christina, Taco
Trying to
Bell.
remember American Horror seasons, Horror Story season 4. I'm trying to remember when that came out. Oh, that's 14. 14 to 15. I don't know. I think that it was just the trend of just doing something scary or doing something like I think one became a publicity stunt, but then some people obviously took it to the next level and really started, attacking people, with knives or with weapons or something.
Yeah.
So there's that idea of people jumping on, but freak show of American Horror Story. I think also that, but that was 2015. So maybe there's the Twisty the Clown, who obviously was one of the famous characters in American Horror Story, especially that season. I think that image of a clown just on the side of the road recalls also Pennywise right above you. That scene when he's just with the balloon pointing at, I believe was it Richie? He was no, not Richie.
Beep beep, Richie.
No, it wasn't Richie. But you see someone on the side of the road, and when they're in the taxi, and he just starts laughing at him, and it's got the balloons. So.
Oh, when like in the remake when the kid was in the car, or that one, or
Yeah, but also just that I'm not the remake, but in the remake though, there's also the scene when he's waving the amputated arm, the big arm of a child.
yeah.
That was very uneasy to watch. It's very unsettling.
Well, I mean, I always say for me, when it comes to clowns, I say if you're attacked by clowns, you have to go for the juggler.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, clowns have never really, for me, has been that like phobia or that scare. I don't really see it as much. Growing up, I mean, obviously you go to haunted houses or you go to amusement parks and you see them walking around, and because I'm thinking to myself like, look, this guy's got like big shoes. I can outrun this guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean, um, so actually, so yeah, so Nightshade. Um, so we actually have something coming up on that Nightshade where we're going to do our top 10. I did my top 10 clown list, and so we'll get through into that in a few minutes here. But yeah, I mean, definitely when you look at clowns, and now tonight we're doing Killer Klowns, which is a little campy. It's obviously been around for a long time. They've been talking about remaking it along with Critters, the Sci-Fi Channel. So what's going on with this movie? Like, what is how it starts and everything? Like, what is behind the success of Killer Clowns in Outer Space?
Well, it's definitely a cult classic. It's kind of unique story of it wasn't necessarily didn't wasn't as successful in the beginning, but it just developed a cult following. But it was a story written actually by what I believe I'm pronouncing this right, the Kyoto brothers. It's a group of brothers that you basically, if you watch even in the opening credits, just the multiple names, repeated producer, director, written by all that. But this story really takes it's released in '88, and it kind of comes off of the typical '80s, small town either suburb that gets attacked by some sort of outer space creature like the Blob. This really comes out of influence like the movie of the remake of the Blob. So you get that setting, that feel. I believe it was the same. Was it the same writer? I'm pretty sure. But you get that uh, an invasion in a small town and the characters having to survive. The typical, people don't believe them at first, and then all of a sudden, everything, the town starts to get invaded. So that typical '80s formula of a monster invading invading a town really takes off because of that. So,
Well, like I said, with the Killer Klowns, I mean, there's so many life, clowns like the killers, the serial killers that have used clowns as a get up, a disguise. We've also had movies that have glorified, clowns, in a following, such as like Nightshade had said with Captain Spaulding. So one of the things that I just kind of wanted to bring up is, who I thought was kind of like, I mean, I'm looking at a top 10 clown list and I'm just looking at like scary clowns and, I'm putting some people in there. So let's see if your guys' list kind of fits or not. And if we can look to the chat, to have a little bit of topic, a little bit of debate. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up here real quick. Let me find that for you, how I wanted to do that. Okay. So it is going to be all right. So our top 10 list. And so what I've done is I wanted to do it in the form of an actual video, but I'm just going to be able to show the overlay pictures. So the first couple of them are just kind of like clown images, like there's certain clowns that scare people or just the way they look. So this is number 10. And as you can see, we got some good makeup going on. This looks like a clown that would be somewhere like maybe at an amusement park or carnival, like a haunted house type place. So definitely got a lot going on there. This right here would be number 9. So obviously, she's got, a lot of good different styles, from the female side with the green long hair, but just has that different image. Okay. Then you have, this scary looking guy. So you have obviously, the hair, the long hair off to the side, the big nose, he's got that teeth going. And then we get to this guy, Mr. John Wayne Gacy, who obviously, has a lot of notorious, behind him. Then we have Mr. It himself, Pennywise, the older version. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, Mr. Ronald. And then, don't know if you remember this guy from Spawn.
Oh, the clown.
And then there's obviously in the movie Zombieland.
Yes, I like that clown.
Yeah. So you know that. And then, of course, recently with, Pennywise, so we have that. And then, of course, we have to go with, like I said, Nightshade said earlier, Mr. Captain Spaulding. So obviously, great actor. We miss him. Sid Haig. He did a great job in the films. Very scary in those roles. So that right there is pretty much roundabout. Just the first couple of them was just random. Clowns, just designs and types. So as you can say, the reality of it is, like Ness was saying, Gacy, was obviously notorious. Hey, Andrew, how are you, bud? So Gacy, so let's kind of get into that. Where's the psychological, from that? Like, why dressing as a clown? What do you think?
It was more to lure them in. I mean, he basically raped and killed men, young boys or young men. So, you know, yeah, it's not just 33. It was the number.
Yeah,
I think it may be even more. And just the luring in, and I think the name of the clown is Pogo the clown, if I'm not mistaken. And just being that, that kind of crazy side of an individual, who tries to hide behind a false front that they create for themselves. So, being that he lured these boys in, what better way to do it in his mind than to be dressed as a clown? But I'm not sure if he was a clown in clown makeup when he actually committed the crimes, but it just so happened that he was a clown for hire, basically, at certain things. I mean, Pogo.
I mean, do you think? I mean, you feel like if as he dresses up behind the clown, the makeup and all that, that people won't see. They see him differently. Um, it's that twisted double personality. Like, well, I put the makeup on because that's my bad side. This is the person that kills, but the other side is the human form. That doesn't do all that. I'm actually good. Like, I mean, do they have that built up as when someone does something like that, like, the psychological, like, what's going on there? Is there a split personality?
For some people that like to do that, I mean, people like to have a way, a means of having a second identity, whether it be through, dressing up, cosplaying. They try to be something that they can't normally be in society, or they use that personality or this separate identity, or this character that they've created as a means to live a life that they can't normally live in society out there. In other words, the persona, that the person that they really are, they can actually change and manipulate that,
Yeah.
the identity, or just that's the real them that they're scared to show the public. That's what they use. They use that as kind of as their way of personifying that true feeling, or that true whatever it is that they're going through, to be someone that they don't necessarily portray in real life.
Pineapple the clown. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of, in the chat, there's a lot of different clowns out there to go over, and, that I might have missed in regards. But I definitely wanted to just kind of touch on a few of them that I could remember. So the thing is, when you have killer clowns from outer space, and, these are like characters that are coming from space. They touch down and they start havoc. They start putting people in cocoons, and doing all this stuff. So what are we looking at here? I mean, what are we trying to kind of message is this film creating? As a B movie.
I think it definitely plays on our phobias, and the idea of trying to really go all out crazy with you know taking the concept of outer space, which was a popular theme, and things people talked about back 60s into even into the 80s, of invasion, something from another planet. But the idea of this movie, it's really just a campy, you know, in a sense, B movie, but one that has developed this following simply because of its cheesiness. People like to see movies like this because it reminds them of them when they were young, and that what used to scare them at sleepovers. It's definitely one of those movies people took a lot to the sleepover parties, have popcorn and all, and then of course eating the popcorn. If you remember from the movie, what happens with popcorn. So there's a lot of things in this movie that almost have become funny things or inside jokes in pop culture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, the way I look at it, I was actually going to paint my face, half of my face, like a clown, um, but I honestly didn't think that people would see the funny side. So, I mean, that's what I was going to do tonight. I was just going to paint my face, half of it like a clown, but I didn't think people would see the funny side. Um, Other than that, I just, I mean, clowns, I always remember going to the circus when I was little, just obviously the funny cars, coming out of the funny cars, doing the antics, making people laugh, um, being a pleasurable, experience. But then clowns becomes something more. How do we go from one side looking at them as entertaining, and then the other side, scary and like a fear?
Mostly because of traumatic experiences, whether it be a movie or some sort of childhood trauma that they dealt with. Could be, a doll that they had as a kid that scared the hell out of them, or something that may have triggered that fear of it. So
Yeah. So obviously in Gacy, when we do get into serial killers, that'll be something that we also will discuss as well.
yeah,
Um,
he
you know,
did have, like, as stated in the chat. Yes, he had about 17 young boys and young men basically buried in a crawl space beneath his house.
yeah,
And just dressed up as a clown for some people was an easy way of luring people in, because people think, oh, they can trust a clown or this and that. Some people, not
yeah.
all, and get close and take advantage of them. Uh, so I believe it's, who was it, Andrew said. Andrew says that he ran a construction business where he took a lot of the young men that worked there and took advantage of them. So yes.
Uh, so you have, like United States, the circus clowns scare me. Uh, what I mean, what are we looking at? Like, why the big red nose? Why the big shoes? Obviously, if things like, if you're looking at kids, when things are larger and they seem larger, they seem scarier. You
Yeah,
know,
exaggeration. Playing on that exaggeration also creates that uneasiness. It's just the things that just stick out. It's just not normal in the sense that you have that. The big red nose is just something. The color itself, the size, all is very almost intimidating in a sense. And the shoes, the over, like, plus the shoes are supposed to add to the slapstick of it all, the clumsiness of a clown.
yeah. That's like I said, with that movie. Just kind of touch bases on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You have the clowns. Can you go through the names of the clowns?
Of the From Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
They have like Jumbo.
Yes, so there's Jumbo, Slim, Rudy, Tiny, which is commonly mistaken as Shorty. So actually, I just realized I could just put up my mask here, so you'll see. Or let me just see. I'll show my shirt. You'll have there's Jumbo, Tiny, which is often referred to as Shorty, but the creator said that his name is actually Tiny. Rudy. I don't want to give away the answer to this, but there's an answer on one of the questions. Then there's Fatso, who is right. Where is he? Where's Fatso? On my neck. Gotta do it the opposite way. Yeah, he's right on this side.
Yeah.
Gotta do it the opposite way.
Awesome.
There's Fatso.
Well, I mean, when you look at clowns, I mean, there's so many aspects, like I said, over the years that has become a phenomenon. There's the fear of clowns. You have your circus clowns, you have your amusement park clowns. So there's so much of that. variety of clowns. You obviously, you have your class clown at school. Everybody just don't clown around. Clowns have always been a staple in pop culture society. The way things have been created. But when did we start looking at them from a horror aspect? Like, when do they go from, circus tent friendly funny to, horror, I'm going to kill you, eat you?
Well, I would say that pretty much almost every generation has had their clown that they're afraid of. So our generation, it's Pennywise, and Captain Spaulding. There's multiple, Captain. I'm sorry, yeah, Captain Spaulding. And who's the other one? There's the movie with the clown that is, oh, he's just black and white. Is it Terrifier? Something.
Oh,
I forget what the name is, but that's a very creepy film. But I would say that you can go as far back as silent films, like I was saying before. I believe it's called Laugh Clown Laugh, with Lon Chaney Sr., uh, known as the Man with a Thousand Faces. Terrifier, it is Terrifier.
yeah.
But the Man with a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney Sr., who was the father of the Lon Chaney Jr., who played the Wolfman. But Lon Chaney Sr. also did the Phantom of the Opera and all that. But that he was really good. He was at making, like characters and faces, and in that he is a clown, and this is very creepy thing about when you look at him. Let me see if I can find him, so you guys can see. But I would say that you go as far as back as that. There's also The Man Who Laughs, which was an early 1928 silent film, German expressionist film that pretty much was the inspiration for the Joker. So you get that, of course. Now I have the picture here. Let me see if I can just share my screen now of what he looks like. This is going back again, this film is silent film. Share screen. Let's see, where's the entire screen? Now you're gonna see like a quick warp, but this is him. Can you see Eric?
There you go.
Yeah, so this is from He Who Gets Slapped, and then there's another one called He did two, Laugh Clown Laugh, and then He Who Gets Slapped, the original creepy clown movie. If you guys look it up on YouTube, you'll see. And of course, he's best known, Lon Chaney Sr., for being the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera. So,
Are you able to can you pull up the Terrifier?
Yes. You know what? Let me put the Terrifier. No, Terrifier clown.
Oh, in the chat, do you guys have a favorite, clown? Someone that you remember, a certain movie, clown movie, something we might miss? Yeah. So,
this movie is a strong. Like if you're gonna watch this movie, don't have kids there.
yeah. He looks pretty scary. And that's it. And that's the thing is, with the clowns, turning them into the horror, turning them into, that killer. When you look at the mask. So you have Michael Myers wears his mask, and you have the clowns have the makeup mostly. Some will have a mask, but they have the makeup. So what is going on behind that mask? Like what, is there something to point out? Is there something we're missing? Like, why they spend all that time, they're putting on that makeup, and they obviously want to go on that killing spree. What are we looking at here, like with this?
So again, the idea of that uneasiness, and now we're talking about killer clowns or just a clown in general.
The killer clowns.
So for killer clowns, obviously, it's just again adding to the fear what they're trying to do. So it's just not only is it the killing part, it's the I'm going to intimidate you and scare you as I do it. So that that is what adds to that element. Just you can imagine the fear and the panic that people would go through actually seeing a clown. You got that. Think of Pennywise in any of the It films. He's got the normal look where he then it attracts you. You get closer, and then almost like a Venus flytrap, just you get trapped in the snare of basically his thing, and then you see like the very scary side of him. Then you see a creature or your biggest fear attacking you. So there's
Now,
that.
I mean, when you look at, like, Pennywise, and you look at, like how the kids, faced him and stuff. Um, does he become scary? I mean, is it something as a psychological? Can you like tell yourself, look, I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of clowns. Obviously we can beat him. Um, you have that insight, but what is it? Can somebody that's not afraid of clowns, somebody that doesn't have that phobia, develop a phobia for the clown?
They could develop it if they experience some sort of traumatic event. Let's say that people go to a circus and something happens where a clown either scares someone and they trip down the stairs, or scares someone that they're caught off guard. You get that extra traumatic experience that will add to that fear. So there's people that I know that used to love clowns, and then they watched a movie that scared the hell out of them, or they went to the circus and a clown just made them feel very uncomfortable. So there's that end of it. Yes, people can develop the fear. How
Yeah,
many people probably walked out with a fear when they watched any of these films, including as cheesy as Killer Clowns is. It did create also a generation that was scared of clowns. The insane clown posse.
yeah. So the Insane Clown Posse, obviously, the soda that they had. Trying to think of, they started with the that's see, my nephew, when I was younger, my nephew was into that, like the Insane Clown Posse, and it didn't take him too long to get out of it because he had an experience that wasn't uh, appropriate, and it was something that he just basically, they kind of beat him up a little bit and took something of his, and it didn't take long for him to realize that wasn't what he wanted to go in as far as a lifestyle. Um, but yeah, Insane Clown Posse, they use it as a gimmick. They dress themselves up. Um, you know,
Mm.
so I mean, that's kind of what you look at with like how our society, like, are we, when they dress up a band like that, Insane Clown Posse, like what kind of a message are we sending?
I think there is also that added element of just we're going to be different. We're going to make ourselves stick out.
Yeah,
So there's that element. So one of the things to keep in mind is that clowns usually are some sort of performer that do some sort of comedic sketch. They typically it started with mimes or silent performers, or they do things that add
yeah,
slapstick humor to it. Yes. Um, it actually is a when you go back to the history, well, those people in the chat, the origin particularly of the word actually comes from the word clumsy, Scandinavian. So you go back even to the court jesters of medieval times and all. It's that element of, humor, and in this, even as far back as the 16th century, with harlequins, as they call them, which is obviously where we get Harley Quinn from.
Yep.
Um, you can find clowns even as far back in history times of Greek and Roman theater performances. So, it really takes off in if you look at the history of it, just in general, of the impact that clowns have had over the generations. The Bozo the Clown of the 1960s, 18th century, clown performances, where people before movie theaters and before, radio, before all of that, what did they do to entertain themselves? They went to the circus.
Yeah.
The
Well,
circus
let's
is,
go ahead and let's go. I know you got some quizzes. Let's go ahead and get one of them started. I know it's just on
yeah,
general
this
clown.
the
Hey, Chris.
first one, clowns, and more clowns, just in
So
general.
if you pull that up, you could probably share it, and then I can pull it up from my end over here. I saw because I want to make sure that we can get it. Since you created them, I want
Yes.
to make
Yeah.
sure how he did that. But I'm going to go ahead and just say hi to everybody in the chat. We got Andrew Weevil, Kimberly Letts, Darian the Variety Show, Chris K&L, Christina Payne. It's kind of going through there, kind of mainstream. And we have Nightshade, Ness. So you guys are hanging out. Anybody I miss, I apologize, but I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, Scream Stream every Friday night. We're going to bring out a topic, a subject to dissect and go over. Tonight is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Clowns. So, if you do have phobias of clowns, or if you know somebody, like this is a show that, we wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit, and on the Killer Clowns in Space in general, the success behind that, and how they are, looking to do a remake, on the Sci-Fi Channel. So that'd be very interesting. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and pull up a quiz. Are you
I mean,
able to share it yet?
yes, I'm just sending the link first to you
Okay.
guys. Bear with me and make sure there's no feedback
And
here.
anybody in the chat, I mean, you guys have any type of clown stories, or like anything that you like? Did you have a town that, when in 2016, we did go through, where a lot of clowns were off to the side on sidewalks, and you'd see them popping up all over the place, and it was just a huge thing going on in the news. Um, any stories that you guys want to share along those lines? And then Darian, I know Darian is in movies. He does some movie stuff. He may have possibly done something along the lines with a clown. A scary clown, maybe it's a possibility. Um, but yeah, I think for me, looking at clowns and looking at killer clowns, like I know the boys want to watch it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's
On
definitely.
Netflix now.
Well, it's also free on YouTube,
Oh,
where it
nice.
will just have commercials and stuff. So definitely, if you haven't seen Killer Clowns in a while, you guys want to check that out. I know that there's some outlets that do have that. So yeah, so the variety show, said that happened a couple of times with clowns popping up all over the place. So I mean, and as a parent, it's definitely a scary thing, because you don't know, like, the psyche that's going on. I mean, obviously they're taking the time to get dressed up. They're taking the time to, transform into something else. Whether it's
The thing is there. If I don't know if you want to pop that up.
all right.
There we go.
There you guys go. It's joinmyquiz.com. You have your code right there. So this is going to be based on clowns. It's not going to be on the movie just yet for Killer Clowns in Space. It is going to be like a general knowledge type question. So have some fun with it, guys. Just do that, and we'll look to get something else up after that. So right now it's 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern. we'll start here in a few minutes. How are you, Lisa Noble? Welcome. And like I said, Darian, welcome. So,
Let's first just on clown, just to warm you guys up, and then we're gonna get into the first killer clown one afterwards.
yeah, and we'll. I'm gonna look for something that I was gonna pull up too that I wanted to share. So, while that quiz is going, I'll go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I tell people, um, what I think that when you look at clowns, is it more a phobia for kids than it is adults, or do you think it's something that carries with them and it continues on?
I think there's a significant amount of adults more that have this phobia because of childhood trauma.
Okay.
It's definitely.
Now I always say, guys, when the clowns get out of their car, it's always good to hold the door open for them. It's a nice gesture. So, my little dad puns jokes. But that's so we got that quiz going. So you guys can pop in there real quick, and like I said, just have some fun with it. I know general knowledge of clowns. You never know. There's always options to so give it a shot, and then we'll go from there. I'll sit this one out myself because I'm looking to pull something up.
Mm-hmm.
But
so if you guys can, again the
right now it's so what we'll do is we'll run it at 7. Yeah. So Andrew said the clown from Spawn. And so Andrew, we did pull up a picture of that. So we have joinmyquiz.com. The code's 267716. Hey, Quick, how are you, bud?
hey quick draw.
Quick, did you have any luck today with the Sinister? But yeah, I mean, so you're looking at clowns now. Would you say clowns are a top-notch, phobia, opposed to say something like spiders or snakes?
It's definitely up there. I think there's probably more. I don't have the facts to back this up, but I would say possibly that there are definitely, I think, more chances of people fear of spiders than there are of clowns, because a spider, we all know what that definitely can do to you. A clown typically is harmless, at least in the right setting, in the appropriate setting, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, like spiders, spiders has always been, like in the house, like we had a spider, like we have a townhome. So upstairs in the bathroom, there's no windows. It's just, you just have your bathroom and you shower. But upstairs, there was a spider that somehow got through the cracks or something like that. And what was hard was the boys tried to kill him, and then I tried to get to him, but he went into the crack. He got away. And so the hard part of it was
the whole house down.
well, you're going to bed and you're like thinking, okay, like that spider is still alive in this house, like and they obviously come out at night. And one time I woke up in the middle of the night when I was younger, and I actually had a spider was on my cheek, and so spiders have always kind of freaked me out in that sense. I tried to tell the boys, look, if they're inside the house, put them outside. But at the same time, you don't know what kind of spider you're dealing with, and then of course, Logan said, well, I don't want to go to Australia. They got those big huntsman spiders.
Those are the ones that most people, a lot of accidents are caused because they like to hide in the cars. And so when people put down their, the mirror.
Yeah, the visor flap.
Visor flap, they put it down and the spiders just And
Oh, it did the heebie-jeebies just thinking about that.
yeah, I had. Let me tell you, I I'll never forget going to Ecuador, which is where I'm born here, but my family's from Ecuador, and seeing, going in the house I was staying, in the room I was staying, going to the bathroom, and then what do I see right next to the light switch? A really big tarantula, and let me tell
Oh,
you,
wow.
trauma. I did not. Yeah, I did not want to go to the bathroom at all. That was a terrible experience. But
Now, tarantulas for some reason, I mean, I'm not as bothered by them as much as for some reason the other types of spiders, obviously like the black widow ones, the hourglass, the obviously those small furry, brown ones, the tiny ones that just there's the I was trying to think of the name. Luckily, out here we don't get a lot of them, but there are some spiders that definitely, like, I know Sacramento is like about an hour and a half away from me, and in the summertime, you get those black widows, so you got to be careful when you're taking the garbage out and things like that. So some of the chat here, they're talking about like Nightshade has a corn snake named Annabelle. Nice. Quick Draw, he has a spider as a pet.
what kind of spider is it? Quick Draw.
What kind of spider you got, Quick? And Lisa Noble, she doesn't like squirrels.
Recluse. I know someone that got bit by a brown recluse once. That's not fun. That's
the spider I was talking about. So
you ever see how fast they are?
Yeah.
By the way, like I said, I don't know if those of you tuning in, there is a phobia quiz later towards the end. So we have a couple of quizzes. It's going to be this. Then we're going to have the Killer Clown Part 1, then the Killer Clown Part 2. We split them up into 2 quizzes. And then finally the phobia.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do too, guys, is we are putting you guys on the list. So I do have names that are down for the list. And what I was going to do, usually, like I said, at the end of the month, we would do like, a giveaway type scenario. But I wanted to hold off until next week to pick winners. We're actually going to have the Dead Skeleton on the show next week. And, great guy, great show. And so I want to have an opportunity to give him, everything about what we do here on this show. So we are going to look to pick a good topic for next week. So we will also take suggestions, so if anybody has any good suggestions that we can go ahead and review. But let's go ahead and get this quiz going. So let's everybody
join in if you haven't. Give it another minute. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in. Another people watching. You got another minute. So last call for people trying to jump in on the quiz.
So there was 2 sharks were eating a clown, and one shark said to the other one, "Does this taste funny?" Yeah. So that's like I said, this movie, definitely want to kind of go off of that. So let me show you real quick. Some of you guys that just kind of came in here. I'll go through this real quick before we start that.
On next week. Well, KNL was on with me. I actually have had pretty good conversations with Dead Skeleton already. I sent him a message and he responded. Because I was on his twice already now. I went on Instagram Live with him with Charlie and, of course, with the new guy. The new guy is who really got everyone's attention. So that'll be odd. But, all right.
For some of you guys that weren't in here earlier, I just wanted to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit with the movie that we're talking about tonight. So let me pull this up real quick.
let's do this quiz, guys. You ready? And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, quiz. Spared you the music, by the way. So let's see what happens here. People are going in. Lisa on the front. So, Eric, what was your experience though with clowns growing up?
Like I said, I mean, I went to, the circus, Barnum and Bailey, so I always looked for me as clowns as the funny side of things. I always try to use humor. I mean, as you guys know, um, so the act of being funny, the act of just kind of being that jokester, the prankster, in school, kind of following the same suit.
Mhm.
Um, so, the idea of the clowns being scary wasn't really an attachment for me. There was other things for me to be more scared of, or growing up, or like I said, zombies. Night of the Living Dead was something that I saw as a younger age, so that kind of was more my trauma. But which is funny because it's become my therapy down in my later years because I love The Walking Dead and zombies and stuff like that. But definitely, just looking at that in general. Um, so the clowns, uh, you know, I don't know. It's just really hard. I really can't really look at them as scary. Now I know Logan has a little bit of a fear with them, but he does like it. I mean, like they've, but they do get a little like covering their eyes and stuff like that. So Um, but if we went to a haunted house, I'm sure that would probably get them pretty good, a clown. That is one thing I do remember. Some of the haunted houses, like the amusement parks, the where the clowns would be like on roller skates, and they come up from behind you and like bang these like metal
Yes.
rods or whatever, make these noises, dragging them along the ground. So you definitely had, you know, that fear factor with the clowns, which was definitely an option. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people can look at clowns as scary. Some people like Chris K&L, he likes the Pennywise, so he likes the clowns. Um, so yeah, so it just depends. And Chris McCain is actually he's going to be on as well with us next week. So um,
Awesome.
we
So
should. It'll
great.
actually be a pretty good show. We also have so the Dead Skeleton, Chris McCain, and we'll have Average Will wants to come on as well. So and we'll come up with a really good topic and kind of have some fun with that, guys. So definitely next week. And one of the things we are trying to do is slide into the 9 o'clock Eastern hour, 6 o'clock Pacific, to give people an option to kind of be here and hang out, not be too late. So it kind of plays into that. Hopefully, we might even be able to get like maybe Zombie Con, Zombies Garage, and then Dallas. So we'll just kind of make it a full panel and have some fun. Definitely, I'm sure Dead Skeleton. He's also going to be on Monday on Homespun happy hour, so that should be good too.
Nice. I'm just posting. Try to get more viewers here. But what is? Let's see. What about your? Are your sons into or scared or into clowns?
Well, like I said, Logan does like it. So he definitely, you know, likes the clown, but he's afraid of the clown. So it is what it is. Um, I don't see it. I really don't see it in as far as the scariness. Like for me, that's the hard part. Like I definitely I enjoy it. Like Captain, I guess Let me go ahead and rephrase that because Captain Spaulding was a scary clown. He was obviously a killer. That's something that obviously can happen in real life that we've had happen in regards to somebody dressing up as a clown and killing. So those movies that House of a Thousand Corpse, that does present a terrifying image for me. Growing up. So I mean, now I look at it. It's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I mean, for you, I mean, you seem to enjoy the clown aspect.
Oh yeah.
Did you have any fears, growing up?
I didn't. I always was fascinated by them. I always loved that was interesting, and I wanted. I don't know. See, I want to show a video I have, but I don't know if the music will probably get it knocked off. Maybe I can. I don't want to leave this stream, but my senior year of college was we had to do it. My bachelor's is in media arts and filmmaking, video production. So one of my senior projects was you had the option of doing a video on fear and a phobia of your choice, and I picked the fear of clowns, and I did a video that I have on YouTube. It is not currently on my new channel; it's on an old channel, but I could put the link so that you can see after later on. Just not during.
If you want to send me the link in the private chat.
Yes, I'm gonna do that because I just worry that, remember, this is like when YouTube first came out or was first like taking off. I don't know if there'll be any type of sensitivity towards copyright or anything, because there was music that technically was. So I mean, they never took that video down, but I don't want to risk the live stream.
We can turn that down. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's always an option there.
So here, oh, that's true, because the video is all original. I am posting it now. That's my old. I gotta merge all of this into my new. Where are we right now with the? It's looking like Ness is in the lead with Mr. Quickster in second, Pineapple the Clown in third, Nightshade in fourth, Lisa in fifth, Scoops sixth, Variety in seventh. Oh, Lisa just jumped up to fourth, Variety seventh, Nobody in eight, Nobody's eight, and LBD in ninth, dead last. So what's going on, LBD?
Hey, Dead Zone, how are you?
How's it going,
bud?
How are you? Dead Zone, I have a little homage to you. Right there's my sticker. I took the sticker off and I put it in the back.
Let's see if I can pull that up. Okay, so I'll take a look real quick at the link and just kind of see from there.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
I tried helping you guys, by the way, before we did this, because I gave you some information that should have helped you with this. What's up, LBD? How's your foot? You need a clown shoe? Nobody's moving up.
Yeah, LBD, we were basically, I was hoping you would be here because I wanted to make sure that I plugged your channel.
We wanted to be one step ahead of you.
Yeah, so let's see here.
And not keep you totally in the dark about it. He's cringing right now.
So Nightshade.
But is that it? I think, is that the end? Let me see. I think that's almost it. Right?
So let's pull that up.
First is Ness, second Mr. Quickster, and Lisa, and in third, shall we review?
Who was it? Who's in third?
That is Lisa.
Okay. And second was
Mr. Quickster. Quick draw. I guess a quick draw.
All right.
Or
So
Ness first.
so I will put you guys, add you guys to the wheel for next week in regards. So Ness, Mr. Quickster, and Lisa. Um, for one. Awesome, awesome. And hopefully, things go well. We'll have gonna come try to find some really, really cool giveaways in regards. So that's what I'm looking to do.
So let's
Uh,
see what the top. We want to review the questions.
yes, go through the questions because
Top question.
Nightshade messed up on a couple of them, and so
What
we want to
Klowns has never been seen in an advertisement, live action, or live TV? Which one is it? And that is Krusty, Bozo, Pennywise, and Arnold are all in some sort of commercial trailer, technically, with Pennywise. But let's see. One is kind of portrayed in horror fiction as an entity that feeds on children. It's Pennywise. One of these infamous killers worked as a clown in children's party. That was John Wayne Gacy, who we were talking about earlier. What's the name given to the phobia of clowns? Again, if you were listening to earlier the chat, you would get these. So, coulrophobia. Which of these types of performers is related to clowns? Is it mimes, Pierrot, blackface? It's all of them, technically. And blackface, obviously, being very controversial now, but in its time, it was, it was a thing. It was popular at one point. There are international organizations like the World Clown Association that provide support for clowns. True or false? And the answer is actually true. Actually, I think there's mention of this in the show Baskets with Zach Galifianakis. A probable common disease associated to clowns is dermatitis, a rash, a depression, or anger management. Rash and dermatitis because of the clown makeup usually causes rashes and breakouts because of that. There is a clown school in Los Angeles. True or false? True. It is true. There is a big clown school there. Clown therapy has proven bad for hospital patients. True or false? And that is false. Yes, some people do go through. There is clown therapy, believe it or not. The founder of clown therapy was B.T. Barnum, Patch Adams, Herschel Krzyzewski, Marcel Marceau, and that is actually Patch Adams. Also in the movie Patch Adams, Robin Williams. Went into children's hospitals to make the kids feel better. One of the most successful circus entrepreneurs was P.T. Barnum, Barnum Bailey's. So big history there. The most famous mime of the 20th century was, and that is Marcel Marceau. I think it was George Carlin that said he hated him. One typical accessory worn by a clown is a wig, a skirt, a blouse, a ring. Mostly a wig, obviously. In what movie does an elephant become part of a clown act? Is it Madagascar, Dumbo, Jumbo, or Jungle Book? And that is Dumbo. I believe there's the famous pop figure. Isn't that like a rare pop figure? Dumbo as a clown. Hey,
Yeah.
Yes. Just double checking the chat. Let's see. Here we go. In what movie a group of wild animals become owners of a circus? That is Madagascar 3. Baby, you're a firework. I remember that scene. And the real name of Krusty the Clown is it's Herschel Krzyzewski. Originally, the idea of Krusty the Clown, it was supposed to be Homer in disguise, but they kind of went away. They, went away with that idea. Well, that was enough. I may have not gotten to everyone, but that is that.
Okay. So very cool. We'll remove that. Very awesome. Got that little quiz going on. So I just wanted to bring this out real quick. Let me go ahead and get my screen. And um, that's not the one I want. And so I'm going to share that. Trying to get all the share stuff sometimes is a little tedious because you try to look at what's listed, and sometimes they're not in the right order that you want.
Yeah.
So you just got to pull that up. But make sure. Okay, there we go. So obviously, our association with clowns and it. So what's the thing behind red balloons?
Yes, I think most people associate red with death, blood, death, and so there's that.
Your vehicles at all times. You don't want to lose one.
So what do you think? So that's what you're looking at when you see Pennywise and the red balloon. So is it kind of like when the red balloon's near that victim is probably the next one in line that you're looking at, or is there like a signal with that?
Yeah, I mean, you get a sense that the volume too loud for people. I don't think
Oh no!
but yeah, no, there is that. There is that element.
The mirror room!
Um, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. We appreciate the support, Gigimo. We I know that sometimes it's not always.
Thank you,
Uh,
Mama. In a little bit, you're going to see something that's
Oh
really going to
no!
scare
oh yeah, that's really going to keep her around. Yeah, so I mean, when you look at haunted houses and you see things that are built around clowns, so for someone going into a haunted house, what's taking over here? Like, what if you're afraid of clowns? As you can see, oh, very nice. What are we looking at? Like, what plays into the mind?
You're getting a sense of, again, that warped reality. Things being twisted, manipulation of color, of shape, all of that is just what we assume, what we what we see as normal is not normal. It's twisted. So you get that sense of just uneasiness again from seeing that what you would perceive as normal is now changed or has been exaggerated.
Yeah. Now with clowns, what about okay? Does the music come into play? The creepiness, the carnival music, like what kind of messages are we sending, with that?
Hold on. Hey, can you turn the volume on the video down a little bit? Because it's hard to hear.
Okay.
That's like that.
When was Elena's daddy's secret? What about you? Are you still his little girl,
All right.
Beverly?
Um,
Oh no!
yeah, let me get that. So
There we go.
I only want to show a little bit of that in regards, but so the music, when you go into these haunted houses and you're dealing with, obviously the clowns, the music, like that setting. For me, I mean, I know when you go into haunted houses, a lot of times something's going to happen because somebody ahead is screaming. There's people that are moving and trying to get away from that particular room. So the juices are starting to flow. Um, but with the clown, I mean, is it the music, that can set that tone?
The music definitely adds to it. but I think it's just the clown, depending on the clown makeup itself, is what really gets to people. The music doesn't help, obviously, with people that are fearful of it, but it does add on to the creepiness and the scariness of it. Um, you get that sense of a circus being a place for entertainment suddenly being twisted and being used as a means of possible death, attack, and for this, for killer clowns.
Yeah. All right, so let me go ahead now. I wanted to that YouTube video that you were talking about. I have that one pulled up, so let me go ahead and share that real quick.
I hopefully we're good, but I did this. This is now 10 years ago.
Well, we'll give it a look. See here. Now, this is something that you had put together.
Yes. He looks really familiar.
um,
10 years ago, skinnier me. These are my early days of video editing.
and yeah, I mean that's see once again.
I messed up my eyes.
So that's you and the outfit.
My end credits. Can you go back to the credits real quick because
Yeah.
that took longer than the actual video. If you
Oh,
go
okay.
back to that, it's crazy.
Let
So
me get
what
them.
I did was I manipulated the images to kind of go with the flow of everything, and those last couple of seconds took me so long to do back then. This is before we had any Adobe Creative Cloud and whatnot. And that was all done on Avid, back then. But it's been quite a while since I've actually seen that video
All
again.
right, here we go.
It's been like 10 years. Right there.
Right there.
The background and the effects themselves are like and then the last one. That little thing took so long to do. It was funny.
Nice. I mean, I can imagine that. So, all right. So you said you had a total of 3 quizzes. You had one was on the movie, and then another one was phobias, correct?
Yeah, we
Okay.
have the one. We now have the actual quiz on Killer Clowns now coming up. So just
Okay. Well, so what I'll do first before we do that, I wanted to have like a little bit of fun with pulling up some Jackbox TV. I wanted to do the T-shirt game, and because we're in horror stream, I figured maybe if people could draw like horror related T-shirts and horror related slogans, and kind of go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Jackbox TV, and we'll do a quick one of those and get that going. So yeah. So go ahead and talk to me more about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like, kind of give me an idea about what's going on with these characters.
So again, we have these clowns that come in this basically in this big spaceship tent that arrives, and basically they invade the town and turn people into these uh, basic cotton candy cocoons. And so, you have these characters that are we're introduced to making out, the typical teenagers making out on a hill, almost like if they're on top of the world. And they see this meteorite that hits, and they go to see what it is, and that's basically the spaceship full of these killer clowns that eventually leave their ship and invade the town. So Crescent Cove, I believe it was, and the people of the towns they're all killed. Most of them are killed, destroyed. Some people are skeptical at first, but we pretty much see these clowns trick people into thinking that they're normal clowns, and then all of a sudden, at the last minute, something happens. Things happen to them. So I don't want to give too much away because it's part of the quiz. But
All right, let's see here.
I'm
I'm gonna put in the code. Yeah, no problem. I mean, definitely. And let's see. Let me go ahead and get that set up. Now I just gotta share it for you guys. Once again, you're gonna go to Jackbox TV, guys, and I'm gonna pull up the code here in a few minutes. So, Jackbox TV, and let me go ahead and share the screen. There is your code. So like I said, we're going to play a little TKO. Generally what I like for you guys to try to do is maybe draw some t-shirt designs, horror related. You can draw clowns, and then slogans, maybe some horror related as well, since we're kind of going from there. But we'll definitely have some fun with it. How are you, Tats? Kind of mainstream. Darian, Christina Payne, Geeky Mama Bear. Thank you once again for being here.
Well, that's fitting for the show today. There is a dog in Killer Klowns.
Well, and that's the thing with my dog. So the boys went outside to go play. So all the kids are outside playing, making loud noises. So of course, my dog, hears that, and it's like, bark, 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 bark. I almost told the boys, I'm like, I'm going to make you take the dog outside and keep the dog outside.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and, like I said, everybody, go ahead, Robert, yourself. You can go on Jackbox TV, and we'll give you guys a few minutes to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert, just kind of while we're doing that real quick. Also, what's you had your stream, your first stream.
I did.
So why don't you talk about that for a little bit? How did you feel like everything went? Your introduction to StreamYard. How do you feel moving forward? What's your show going to be about? While we're letting some people get in here.
Yeah, so I did my first stream, and it went a lot more smoothly than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be too crazy. There was some bumps along the road, but I owe a big thank you to yourself, to Mitch, to Dead Zone, LBD, Dallas, everyone that kind of jibbed, and Christina, of course, who all came in to help as much as possible. So my channel, Wabosaurus Rex, is basically the title of my show. It's going to be called What's Poppin'. And I picked that simply because it's not just going to be just on. It's really on pop culture. We're talking about pop culture, not just Funko Pops. Um, Again, most people know at this point that I am an educator, and I wanted to be able to the same lessons that I teach my students. I wanted to be able to teach the public, basically. My knowledge of film history, video production, and being able to to talk about doing basically deep dives and breakdowns of certain movies, TV shows. So we're going to be discussing. The channel is really pretty much going to be discussing various topics in pop culture. Is the long story short.
Okay.
The the goal is to try to structure it almost as I would an actual lesson. So I figured that'll be a nice little twist that I wanted to add in. With an agenda now, like almost like if it was class, like an online class, but a fun one. So that's going to be the approach to the show. I'm looking to go live tomorrow again around 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my channel, and the topics are going to be tomorrow's topic is going to be the introduction to film.
Okay.
It's going to be how film began, the accidental discovery of film, and talking about what how the medium took off, and then the first it's either most likely going to be next week is going to be the first breakdown of a movie, and it's going to be the 1933 film King Kong.
Oh,
So
nice.
if anyone
Good.
is a King Kong, we're going to do everything King Kong. It's one of my one of the movies that inspired me to become a film director and film educator. So that just stick around. We're going to be doing a lot. We'll look at genres. We'll break down comic books. We'll break down graphic novels. We'll talk about events happening in the community and the Funko community, and I'll be doing some live hunts, and also adding to the fact that I am in New Jersey. I will also be doing some live streaming and also pre-recorded footage in places that are listed on the Weird New Jersey, which
Yeah.
is a unique magazine here in New Jersey that basically lots of haunted attractions and whatnot. And hopefully, who knows, maybe I'll be able to do a one of the streams with you live from one of these locations. We could have
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of cool. I mean, we have a little cemetery here in town, but I mean, like I think obviously to be able to do something like that, a remote would be a lot of fun, most definitely. So we're gonna go ahead and start 7:43. So I'm gonna just allow an opportunity for someone to come back in. So at 7:45, guys, I'm gonna run this TKO and just kind of get that off and running. Once again, try to do your best with drawing. Have fun with it. Slogans. If you want to keep it around that horror, it'd be great. That's what I kind of figured we would do with this TKO game tonight, and just kind of go from there. Now, some of the kills, we also want to kind of get into a little bit with the clowns and what's going on with the killing parts and stuff. So we'll dive into that as well. Okay.
okay.
But yeah, so at 7:45, we'll run it. We'll see if we get one here. That's great. If not, we have 6, so that's awesome as well. With these T-shirt games, they're a lot of fun. And the other thing I was going to just kind of touch on was with clowns. Does it seem like there's a lot of therapy involved? With the trauma of clowns. From a psychological standpoint, do you guys have like classes like like a 101 that derives mostly on clowns, like with your school? Like, I mean,
You mean at my school?
yeah, like, I mean, have you seen like in colleges, where like the topics, like how would you describe that, like a fear of clowns based into a whole semester, like how, you know what I
Well,
mean?
when we get to the phobias part in my psychology class, this is definitely one that pops up every semester, and it's definitely the fear of clowns. And most of it's traumatizing, childhood experiences from the movie It, or House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, Zombieland. Well, not Zombieland's more funny, but also the one thing that we're leaving out. Most people were terrified from clowns from that famous episode in Are You Afraid of the Dark? Um,
Oh,
is it? I forget what the name of the clown. Maybe someone in the chat remembers the name of the clown in Are You Afraid of the Dark?
and also Ness said Poltergeist too. There's some scenes
Oh,
from Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Yes, the famous, the infamous.
Let's go ahead and run this TKO for you guys real quick. So,
Here we go.
all right, so we're gonna get it going. Have fun with it, guys. And once again, thanks for everybody, being here, supporting, hanging out. We really appreciate it.
Let's see.
So yeah, I keep telling myself I want to get like a stylus or something to draw with this thing. So
I have an iPad that I could do it on, but it's dead.
there's a code in it. There's a code, Chris, that you might still have time to get. It's Jackbox TV.
I think it was MXCO.
Yeah.
MXCO, if I'm not mistaken. Try my best.
All right, so go ahead and here we go. Let's see.
What would you say is a the best clown kill you've seen on screen?
I don't know, I have to think about that one. Hold on, let me trying to figure this out with the
People in the chat say, "I love. Are you afraid of the dark?" Yep. Zebo the clown. Thank you for came out. There was a very eerie episode of The Twilight Zone called Five Characters in Search of an Exit or for an Exit. That has like a clown in it as well. And you guys have to check that out when you get a chance. Because that was scary in a way. It's like not scary, but like uneasy, really. Let me say that right. It's very uneasy.
boom, boom, boom. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right on time.
All right.
Oh, MXOC. Sorry, dyslexic. MXOC. Thank you, Ness. Oh, it's up there. It's clearly at the top right. Let's see who gets this.
Can't find my the white part.
should have gotten cotton candy for the string. So, what is everyone? Anyone else have any stories that traumatized you as a kid with clowns?
I mean, I think that's, one of the debates too is, do more people find clowns, acceptable, cooler, enjoy, a fan of, or, are they, afraid? I mean, there's a certain percentage, of people that are afraid of clowns that, maybe never recover. Kind of go from there,
Yeah. Let me see. Activity. Steer host. Attending, traveling, listening to, looking for, supporting, watching. Bingo. Oops, that's not what I meant to post. I'm just putting the trying to get us some more people in here so they can get ready for the quiz.
Yeah, but I mean, when you okay, so Chris, so basically, if you go on your device, Chris, like if you go on your phone or if you use your computer, you pull up another window and you just go to jackbox.tv. There's a code that we're going to provide you. So we're playing certain games, like the one that's on TV on the screen right now. And so the code that you put in allows you access to play with us. So, you have a lot of players that can play. And that's what's good about it. The Jackbox TV is free. For you just type that in and then punch in the code and then you get to play. So there's like, murder mystery games, quiplash, there's different levels and forms. So definitely by just having a second device or a second screen allows you to have some fun with it.
If you need one. Go. Keep rising, right like the wind.
What is that? Is that the music to this?
Music from the.
Because it's coming in really loud.
Yeah, let me get that down for you.
So the first quiz will bring out our first guest.
Time goes short. Hurry up and finish already.
Right.
Nice hustle. Let's find out if it was worth it. Time for training is over. Have a look at your device. Select one drawing and one slogan to create the perfect t-shirt combination. And I do mean perfect.
So it takes a while to catch on variety shows, but basically you're just going to put in slogans and you're going to try to draw. Now you're going to pick. You're going to pick from the choices.
Got it. You can still hear me clearly, right? This isn't muffling me.
Yeah, I can.
Ready.
So, like I said, variety show, Chris. Generally, what you guys do is you get 3 opportunities to draw any type of shirts, any type of ideas that you would put on a shirt. You just try to have fun with it, and then after you get your shirts drawn, you start doing slogans. And then what they'll do, the computer will match up certain slogans with certain shirts. And then you have to pick one, and then we compete and see which one comes out the best. The audience will vote.
All is ready. Let the tournament begin.
So when you're playing it for the first time, it takes a while to kind of catch on, but
Yeah, I mean, this game is strange to me.
so now you would vote between the 2 shirts. You go on and you choose and decide between the 2 shirts which one would come through.
Challenger appears.
Yeah,
Is the weather bad out there? Is you getting some weather situations? So that's what's messing up your internet?
there was bad weather here earlier, but it's not as bad as it was before.
Mercy.
See, when you have like styluses and stuff like that, I mean, that's what helps.
Is there a way to lower that volume?
There you go, no volume.
It's okay. Because it becomes hard to hear you, and I have my thing on lock. Thanks, Kano.
How's that?
Excellent.
Yeah. See, the thing is when I hear it from my end, it
It's
seems like a normal level. It's kind of hard to tell what it is.
Yeah, no, it on this end it comes really loud. I can imagine if Drew's in here, he'd be like,
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. When I just kind of downloaded this not too long ago, and so I'm still kind of playing with it, trying to work the kinks out. And um, so, like right now, it's like Geeky Mama Bear says there's a bad lag. Um, and that's the thing too, is just figuring out the lag situations, with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I'm working with Spectre to figure out a better direction with it. I don't know. I mean, we did it the other night, like last night with LBD and stuff, and it seemed to work okay. So
Mhm.
it just depends on maybe like how many people are playing, but that's why I'm basically trying these games out.
Yeah.
That's why I told you earlier, when I got the speaker, for the murder mystery game.
I see. I like that shirt. I will eat you. This game is long. Let's see. You really have to have a stylus for this. You're right. Let's see. How can we do this? So you basically you make shirts and you put slogans and it's whoever gets the best one wins. Match and trade. Gonna test something out here. Got it. Need to switch to. Woo! Okay. Handycam. Get real effects here, like wah, 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 wah. Oh, Kiki's monitor's iPad died. Poke. One more shot. Don't forget. Lava, so let's pop it. Lava Source Rex. Hey. I'm fading. No, I'm just having fun here. Back to normal. Back to normal. Boop, boop, boop.
All right. And see, the thing is too, you can also create the time, like you can change the time on it so it'll go a little bit faster. Sometimes it's good to give more time to draw, but then when everybody's done, you have to wait it out.
Let's see here. Yeah, the fool. The bolts. Yeah, that bear has a peepee. I don't know who did that. LBD, if you're watching, that is a shout out towards you. Don't fear. He is.
Oh, calendar.
I go. Seriously?
Seriously? So you got seriously and LBD plug it.
Is this the last round? Beep, beep. Let's move on. Seriously.
Oh.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That definitely deserves to win. The winner.
Ness. Good job, Ness.
I will eat birches.
I kind of wish the series, like it's. I mean, they're both good.
Mm-hmm.
Who did the cat?
Really cool looking cat, but I think this has to go to
Hmm.
someone specific.
I thought that the cat drawing was really good, though.
Mm-hmm. One sec.
We would share, so I can't wait for
Ness won the tournament. Slogan used on 3 shirts. Best artist drawings used on 4 shirts. Most shirtalities, Ness. Variety, fastest artist. Most ignored. They have a category on that. Most ignored or most prolific. Nice. Okay, so let me go ahead and hold on. Let me go ahead and go back to that. Boom. All right. So let me go.
I have the next quiz. This game's too long. The shirt game.
Yeah, let me go take that out now. But boom. All right, there you go. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people will play the t-shirt game. When you have like a lot of people playing it, it works. But at the same time, that's why I'm trying to figure out when I download these games, what I need to do for them, like which one needs something specific, whether it's, a mic, the microphone, like speaker, or, like the connections and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But definitely, nice job on that. I mean, just trying to provide a little bit something different for you guys from time to time. Once I get this dialed in as far as like to play the games, it provides an extra outlet, because like I said, if we can do drawings for, like maybe what we're discussing, and slogans, it's a little bit, goes from there. But they do have, like 5 different phases for that. So, all right. So now you have another quiz.
Yep. I just sent it in the chat, and I'm going to be sharing it now. Share with screen. Here we go.
All right.
It's down now.
All right. And okay, so before we play that, I'll play the trailer. But so joinmyquiz.com. It had red glasses like Geeky Mama. Had to put seriously with it. Good job, Ness. Yeah, I put the hashtag seriously. Okay, so while you guys are popping in there, just like I said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up real quick.
Something's going on here. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh.
what'd you do with Robert?
Don't worry about him right now.
Who are you? Are you coming into my stream unexpectedly?
Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am the great Pagliacci. I am a killer clown, and I've decided to make my debut on the Scream stream.
What have you done with Charlie?
We don't speak of the old dummy. I'm now in charge here.
Well, I don't know if I want you on the stream. You're kind of scaring me.
Scare? Well, you're in for a real big one soon. Scary. I'll haunt your nightmares every night. All those you, especially in this live chat.
Well, we were doing the topic Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Are you any relation to them, or do you know the Killer Klowns from Outer Space?
I do. I am related to some of them on there. Don't talk to a few, but
Do you have a like a backstory where did somebody just find you like in a like under the big top somewhere? You were just like a ventriloquist gone wrong. I mean, what's going on with you?
Well, back in '88 when they destroyed the big top, I was a remnant of Slim. Slim is relation. So I crawled out of the wreckage and pulled myself back together using whatever wood I can find. And here I am today.
Well, I want to say welcome, but at the same time, I don't know if you're going to scare some of the people in the audience there. I mean, I see that somebody said that you look like Ronald McDonald's creepy uncle.
Ronald McDonald. So overrated. People need to know the name Pagliacci, because I am the new kid on the block and then taking over.
well, why don't you go ahead and sit back a little bit? We're about to do a little quiz, and then maybe you can kind of give us some insight a little bit more after the quiz. But I was actually going to pull something up on your cousins here real quick. So maybe you can kind of just tell me if you like it or not. So hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hello, chat.
Something happened.
So what? You may recognize some of this, in regards.
Something.
Yes, the incident of '88.
Star.
Was that the incident of '88?
Why here? Why now? Why?
Do you recognize us? You related?
I am Rudy.
They've been been knocking him dead.
So now,
All over the
this
universe.
movie is actually free on
Fighting.
YouTube. Can you do that? Do you have talent like that?
Theater near you.
Killer Klowns from outer space.
That guy was
Can you do that? Ah, pizza.
Maybe they're just cruising through the galaxy and stopped here for a bite to eat.
You don't need a police bell, you need a psychiatrist.
So what's that stuff that they got going on with that?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's the prize.
They want to play games?
Now, do you have a ray gun?
Messing with the wrong guy.
I'm rebuilding.
in for?
Killer Klowns from outer space. It's crazy.
It is. It's so crazy. All right. So, do you have a ray gun?
Well, I'm in the middle of rebuilding it.
Oh, okay. Well, we're about to do a quiz, so maybe it's based on some of your cousins there. So maybe you can give it a shot and see how well you do. As a possibility, who knows? But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this quiz. So let's go ahead and just kind of give it a few seconds here for an opportunity for people to jump in there real quick. So it's 8:23. I will give it till 8:24, and then we'll just go ahead and start.
I'll
Let
let
me
you.
go.
I'll
Let me
let
go
you.
ahead and I'm going to go ahead and jump on there as well. Let me go back to joinmyquiz.com. So, how do you feel about, you're in Charlie's house,
Charlie. He's annoying. That high-pitched voice. That red hoodie and bandana now. It's just irritating.
But you think that you would like the color red.
Yes, but a hoodie in the summer? Come on.
Well, maybe Charlie gets a little cold.
Cold? He's cold-hearted, that's for sure. So, I guess I'll let you see the other guy now.
Yeah, well, Charlie has always come around quite regularly. So, but I definitely would love to have you around sometime. I guess it's going to take a while to get used to you. You definitely have a little bit of a different personality than Charlie.
Yeah, I'm not as nice.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start this quiz and see how we do.
No problem. I'll let the other guy come in and take over from here.
All right. Good seeing you.
Likewise. Whoa, what was that about?
Definitely somebody was clowning around trying to take over your apartment, your stream, Charlie. I don't know. It was crazy.
No,
But go ahead and run that quiz.
yes. Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, quiz. It's only 3 people on this one. Slow night.
Oh, wow.
Let's see here. There's 6 watching. Jump in, guys, if you have it in the quiz.
Yeah, so like I said, so next week we'll figure out a pretty good topic to come up with.
Mm.
All right. So how's Charlie adjusting?
He's been hiding, oddly enough. You gotta see where he's at. He'll probably come out in a little bit. See where he's at. I'll get him in like 5 minutes to see. He's probably hiding in the bathroom. Last time I checked, he was inside of the tub.
Let's see.
I think this goes down as the shortest amount of group people in here. More of a chance of getting yourselves on the wheel.
Yeah, that's it. I won't do well. All right. All right, Geeky Mama Bear, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. You have a good night. Enjoy your weekend, hon.
Good night.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, yeah, basically, one of the things that I'm just trying to figure out, how we can arrange our stream, and design it, and just kind of get information, like from Dallas and you and LBD and Zombie, just kind of get an idea of like people that would come on from time to time on the stream and be here. How are you, Baguette? Amanda? Just kind of go from there.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Let me go find our buddy over here. See where he's at. Charlie.
so Ness got you down. Ness is always on that wheel. That's a good thing. Ness, you're always allowing it opportunities to put yourself on the wheel and win things. So awesome. And Darian, thank you as well for participating. Generally, like I said, each week, we'll pick certain topics. And I understand, some topics, like I said, are not always going to appeal to everybody. That's just how, anything is. It's just like sports. Some people don't like baseball, some people like football, some people don't like football, they like hockey. So there's a wide variety of in interest. But what we will be doing is we will always have somewhat of a show, and it'll be based on what topic that we pick, and then from there, that's why we don't mind your guys' suggestions. But we definitely look into the month of finishing out August and then September. And then obviously as we get into October, we'll set up, some of the shows like Halloween and stuff like that. We'll also be looking at doing some remotes, hopefully, like Robert had said, and just kind of going from there. We are going to try to keep into this slot right now at the 9 o'clock. That way it just gives everybody an opportunity to come on for a couple of hours, and then they can still on the East Coast, if they need to go to bed or they got to work the next day, things like that. So, And yeah, so I mean that's a good thing too. Darian, you're always welcome on the show. If you also want to come on and talk about what's going on with you as far as like I know your behind the scenes, your special effects, things that you've done because you've been in a movie, anything like that. Like I said, we don't mind that at all. So, but your thoughts, Robert, with this Killer Clown movie. Now they talked about doing a remake in regards. Is that something that you think could work? Is it something with today's technology, special effects? Do you think it would be a delight to see, or do you just want to just keep it the way it is?
No, I think they should revisit like a continuation years later, like they did. A lot of the movies today are basically coming in from like sequels that pick up years later. And
Yeah.
yes, that the family from Ecuador. So I think they could do the movie justice if in fact, the Pagliacci, which I won't say out loud, I don't want to disrupt him. He is actually concept art for what was a proposed sequel. So the people that designed him for the concept art for the sequel was in mind when they did that.
Well,
Why?
what part of that?
So apparently, there's a studio in Long Island that was working with the Kyoto brothers on just ideas for a sequel, and one of them I think was Pagliacci, who you saw earlier.
So your whole like behind. So I mean, now that you have that guy, Charlie. They do say things come in threes. Do you have another one? Hey, Charlie.
Hello, I am not going to go to bed tonight with that thing in here. Absolutely not.
I don't blame you, Charlie. You sharing the house. I'm sure you've got to have some creepy jeepies, some heebie-jeebies.
Let me tell you, that thing, he is creepy. I thought people used to say that I was creepy, but my God, that thing.
Yeah, when he came on, Charlie, I was really shocked. I was surprised. It just kind of threw me off, because he intercepted everything and he just said that it kind of seemed like he had it out for you. So I was kind of worried about you, Charlie.
Oh yeah, I mean, this guy keeps giving me some crazy, dirty looks, so I'm not even gonna risk it. But he stays in a completely different room than I am gonna stay. I got the living room now.
You might have to channel your inner Chucky.
I'm probably gonna have to,
Yeah.
defend myself against this guy.
Well, I mean, plus he says he's got cousins, so you might be outnumbered there, Charlie.
Trust me, I'm prepared.
Now, Charlie. Oh, okay, there you go. So now you're like Prison Mike, or you're like Rambo.
Oh yeah, with that thing around, absolutely.
So Charlie, the thing is that I wanted to ask you in regards with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they were supposed to do another movie with that, and like Ness had said that the second movie was going to be 3D. Now, would that appeal to you? I mean, do you know what 3D is, Charlie?
Oh, I definitely know what 3D is, but those 3D and clowns, huh? You're trying to give us a heart attack?
What's your thoughts, Charlie, on Killer Clowns? I mean, would you say, do they mix well with, killer dolls?
I mean, it worked in Poltergeist, so I can imagine it would. I mean, personally, dealing with the real killer clown in the house now, it's terrifying. But I can imagine that audiences will definitely buy into it. I mean, it's on Netflix now, and It's free with ads on YouTube, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's ripe for the picking right now in respark of interest. So I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to go and revisit and do a possible sequel. In fact, I believe it was, what's today, the 6th? Say 6th? Yeah. Well, on the 1st, they did a reunion of the cast.
Okay.
They did a whole breakdown. It was a watch party. If you hit play at the same time that they hit set start, they actually did commentary and they spoke about things. So I imagine that's going to garner.
I want to see if I could pull up an article because I know I saw something and I just can't remember where. But I'm going to check on something real quick here, Charlie. So Charlie, I want you to kind of tell me your top 10, clowns in movies that you think of, that you can think of, or top 10 clown people. And the other thing is too, Charlie, that Ness has pointed out that they do like to eat humans, so you just might be safe.
Oh, thank God. I'll just feed Bobosaurus to him.
Okay, let me get that real quick.
Termites? Oh dear Lord! You're bringing up termites, Ness? No, that's terrifying. That or what are those carpenter bees? Carpenter bees. Ugh, those are terrifying. They'll make holes in the wood and bury themselves in you. It's horrible. It's worse than arachnophobia.
All right, so they talk about the Killer Clown from Outer Space reboot, and this is back in April, that this had come out in regards. But what they are doing is, they said that they've had an interest in the idea of a possible Killer Klowns from Outer Space reboot. Horror fans have waited a long time to see a sequel to the 1988 classic, and there's been talks since the first installment hit theaters, but that, over 30 years later. So last fall, Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights introduced a Killer Klowns maze, and it was one of the busiest attractions of the year. So they definitely have. So there's obviously a sensation in regards of it could be, it's a cult favorite amongst horror fans. There's a lot of projects involving the Killer Klowns, but nothing's really come into fruition. So they have asked about, whether or not that's going to happen. Now, he being Edward Sciotto had said this. That's certainly part of the conversation. Not that we claim to know everything. We do have a pretty unique understanding of how the clowns operate and what that universe is. We've always worked with other filmmakers, other creative people, so we'd welcome the right opportunity to make that happen. There's a lot of fun to be had with the concept, like our trilogy in 4 parts. There's a certain dark comedy to the original that we're playing with. We love the genre. We're having fun with the genre, making fun of it, but not because we want to make fun of it, but because we love it and embrace it. So just kind of going off of that, where would you take this, Charlie? Like, where would you think they could take this film? If they did do it, would it be a reboot? Would it be a follow-up? What would you like to see happen with another story of this?
I would say, it doesn't hurt to try to do a continuation. Basically, continue where they left off. Pick up like they did for Jurassic Park, how it picked up 25 years later of the original. I would say you pick up after the original. Halloween did it, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre is now going to do it. Why not with Killer Klowns? Killer Klowns right now with the trend of It Chapter 2 having come out pretty recently. People are going to look for some sort of escapism and a scare, especially in a post-COVID 19 world. So why not start with one of the biggest fears in horror, clowns? So it's going to be an interesting future here, and I can see and imagine that because it's free and they're making it so available, they're probably trying to get people to reach out to. I believe it's I think it's MGM MGM, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, owns the rights to Killer Klowns. So if enough push for people calling saying that they want to see the clowns from outer space again, well, then you're likely going to see a future in possible continuation and turning into a franchise.
Well, I mean, obviously, with the success of Halloween, you have a little bit of success with the Child's Play intro. You have a lot of movies, horror lines that are still holding strong. Um, so people do go to scary movies, and so bringing the Killer Clowns out now, whether or not it goes to something like sci-fi, where it goes to TV or it goes to the screen, but creating another chapter for Killer Clowns in outer space would be pretty solid. It would not be that bad at all, especially with the CGI. You could maybe get some solid actors in there, and just kind of like they said, go a little bit dark with it, and just kind of go from there. Yeah, I mean, I think it has the potential. Definitely, the original, has its following, and a newer edition could bring in some more fan base for that, especially with the attractions that were going on in Universal Studios. So I'm definitely all for it. I definitely would like to see something like that and introduce it, obviously to my boys. I mean, they will watch this and check it out and just kind of get their thoughts on it. So I'm looking forward to that. So other than that, what I'm going to do is just kind of like we've been on here for almost 2 hours now, so we've done a few things, and like I said, each week a stream is always going to take on its own shape. It's going to be based on what we got going on, our theme, maybe our guests, maybe how many basically we're going to have interactions in the chat, things like that. So obviously, people do watch on the rewind. So we just want to say to the people that are watching on the rewind, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. It's Robert, Wabasaurus Rex, myself, Eric, and we are part of Scream Stream. We have a team that is out there. And we have Ness is here tonight, who has always been supportive. So we appreciate that, Ness. And Darian, the Variety Show Uncut. Geeky Mama Bear was here. So earlier, we had Nightshade. We had K&L.
I'm Matthew Crowley. That's interesting.
What's that?
Wrapping up Matthew. He's been there.
Well, he said, he said too that I told him he can come on any of the streams, that he wants to. He's more than welcome. So definitely, yeah, Darian, appreciate it. Have a good night, bud. Get some rest. Thanks again. And Darian, next week, the Dead Skeleton and KNL, and at the show next week. So, but other than that, that's kind of what we're doing. Is we're just looking to wrap this up. Thank you, Chris. Look forward to seeing you next week. And also, Chris, if there's a topic, for you that you'd like to maybe see us kind of get into, let us know. And we'll just kind of go from there. But hopefully, by next week, we'll get this stuff in sync. That's my game plan, because I do want to be able to do the t-shirt game. I do want to be able to do different things on the stream. Obviously, we have our quizzes. There's a lot of different things that we should be able to try to do each week as much as possible, and just learn a little bit more about what we can and can't do on the YouTube side of it. Yeah. So, a little bit of research, and, as we get going, things will continue to gain speed and gain traction. So we really appreciate that. But this is, Two Boys and Their Pops, Eric, and we have Charlie. And Charlie's playmate.
Hello.
Good luck with that, Charlie. you know, we do have a spare room, Charlie. So if you ever need to come visit, we have a spare room.
A spare room. Come on together. Whoop. Scary.
There you go. So maybe there'll be a third edition at some point, Charlie. So maybe he might be on your side, or he might be on the other guy's side. So I don't know. You have to kind of keep things close to the vest, Charlie. Close to the vest.
It was better when it's just me.
Well, give it some time, Charlie. Give it some time. Sometimes change can be inevitable, but it can also be a good thing. And you just have to give it some time and be open minded.
I guess so. Yeah,
All right, guys. What's that?
So he'll warm up to the idea.
Well, what do you got going on one more time as we're heading out? Let everybody know.
Oh, so I just kicked off my my YouTube channel called What's Poppin'? What's Poppin'? And you can come check out me, Charlie Pagliacci, where we'll be talking about pop culture and gearing it a lot towards breakdown of film history and the impact film. So we'll look at some film theory and look at how some of these topics in pop culture affect us and have influenced us over the years. So,
so is Charlie pretty good at pop culture with the question?
That's all I do is I hear watching pop culture stuff, Netflix.
Charlie, I actually have a question. So I have. I wanted to kind of throw you on the spot there, Charlie. I just wanted to see how this might play out for you. But I'll give you a choice here. So Charlie, in which sci-fi drama TV series was Cigarette Smoking Man the primary villain?
Cigarette smoking.
Now this is I'll give you a hint, Charlie. And it might give it away, but I'll do it for you, Charlie. Agent Mulder.
Oh, I was gonna say X-Files.
So yeah, Charlie. So the X-Files. So you also have. Let me see here. Let me pick one. So Charlie, which romantic disaster film from 1997 had the tagline "Nothing on earth could come between them"?
Titanic.
Oh yes, the Titanic. Awesome.
Watching that.
So obviously, like I said, Charlie, you're going to be well rehearsed in the 90s, some trivia, pop culture. So awesome job, and we just, like I said, telling everybody good night. Appreciate the support being here. Until the next time rolls around, make sure you guys go out with a smile, enjoy life, be positive. Positive builds positive. So this is Two Boys and Their Pops, Charlie, Robert, and you guys have a good one.
All right.
Take care.
Take care, guys.